Hello, and welcome to this Microsoft Excel Macros and VBA course. My name is Kyle Pugh, and I'll be the instructor walking you through the finer points and key concepts of implementing macros and Visual Basic coding within your Microsoft Excel workbooks. So get ready. We're going to jump into 7 projects that are really going to give you an idea of how to fully take advantage of Excel VBA and automate your experience. So I want to introduce you to these 7 projects just kind of on a high level, and then we'll start jumping into the material. So I got a little PowerPoint here. So the first project that we're going to get into is we're going to get an understanding of working with Microsoft Excel's macro recorder tool. It's a simple little tool, and it's perhaps the quickest, easiest way to start automating your experience inside of Excel. You hit a button, you say record Excel, I want you to record my actions, and it'll start writing down and generating Visual Basic code for you to automate routine tasks that you accomplish inside of Excel. So we're going to get a feel for working with that macro recorder. Now, even if you've done this before, hopefully I can show you some new tricks here. And it's a great tool to use when you don't have a lot of time or you're just not quite sure what the Visual Basic code will look like. Just record yourself doing it. Excel will write it for you. Then you can copy and paste. You can make edits to it. You can streamline the code, whatever you need to do to it. But a very, very useful tool. We're going to talk all about it here. The next thing we're going to get into is an overview of key concepts that we're going to want to be familiar with as you work inside of Excel VBA. Now, these might be tools that you've used before. You might be brand new to this. Whatever your case is, we're going to get an overview of these key concepts that you're going to carry with you throughout your Excel VBA experience. Now, the second project that we're going to get into is interacting with the users. I've got a user that opens up my Excel document or some Excel document that I've had a hand in, and I want to be able to interact with that user to help them automate their experience. So we're going to talk about how you, as the programmer, the one creating the automation, the VBA or the macros, how you can reach through that window and you can grab a hold of that user, ask them some questions, ask them for some input, automate their experience through whatever they supply for you. That'll be our second project. Now, the third project that we're going to get into is going to be about taking some data, just raw data. Perhaps it's something that you've imported in from some other system, some database in the background, some CRM management tool, whatever it is, and now you want to clean that data up. You want to make it look presentable. Add headers, add colors, do whatever you like with it. And we'll talk all about preparing and cleaning up this external data that you bring into Excel. The fourth project, formulas. It's a big part of Microsoft Excel. You probably use a sum function, maybe the average, the VLOOKUP, whatever it might be. I want to be able to automate those formulas, those functions through VBA. We're going to talk about the sum function specifically, but you can take the concepts that we're going to cover and you can apply them to any function that you work with inside of Excel. The fifth project, we're going to take everything that we've learned up to this point. We'll talk about the macro recorder. We'll talk about preparing and cleaning up data. Those key concepts, things like loops and variables and control structures. We'll talk all about that. We'll talk about automating formulas. Take all of that and we're going to wrap it all up into one master procedure, one little bit of code inside of our VBA project to be able to automate the creation of a final report. We'll bring some data into Excel, we'll clean it up, we'll run some calculations on it, and we'll take all that data into a single worksheet and use it as our final report. Okay, so get ready for that. It's going to be a big one. We're going to accomplish many, many things inside there, but it's going to be all stuff that we've talked about up to that point. Now we got a couple more projects here. Project number 6, I'm going to give you a quick introduction into VBA forms and how they work inside of your Excel VBA environment. Really creating a form to help you interact with the user, gathering information from them, using a form for data entry, for editing of data, whatever it might be. But I'll give you an introduction into working with VBA forms. And the 7th project, we're going to talk about importing data. So not just receiving data just inside of Excel, but you've got some external file that you now want to import into Excel. Perhaps this is a weekly report that you run. I want to hit a button and have that data automatically imported right into my Excel document. And then we can do whatever we like with it. Maybe we got other procedures, other macros that do other stuff with that data. But we'll talk about importing data into Excel through VBA and automating that experience. So 7 little projects here. Okay, these key concepts that we're going to get into are going to help us automate our experience. So I hope you're ready for this. We'll jump into the next video here and we'll talk a little bit about what macros and what VBA is all about, and then we'll start jumping into the projects.